Hello everyone, this is Paukshte Fashion Workshop. I remind you that we post new videos every day. Last time I talked to you about my plans and the dresses I'm going to sew. You've already seen this sketch. This is the dress I'll be working with today. I'm going to make it of knitted fabric. This is going to be a pretty warm dress. Anyway, it will be very beautiful, so I'll be able to wear it not only to work, but also to a theater or to a restaurant, for example. The fabric is very soft to the touch. It's double-sided. I'm going to make the dress of the dark side. I can move this piece of fabric aside. Dresses of such designs can be made not only of knitted fabrics. Let's have a close look at the sketch once again. Here is the back pattern. There is no need to change it. The only thing that can be changed in the back is the waistline. You can make a seam here. It's not necessary though. I am not going to make a seam on the waistline. You can do it if you want to. My back is pretty straight, so there is no need for me to make a seam. I recommend making the seams on the waistlines for those who have round backs. It will be very convenient to make tucks in this case. You can even make dresses with no waist seams on the front and the seams on the back. It will be much easier to make the dresses fit you perfectly in this case. Have a look at the sketch once again. I know that it seems simple, but it's actually pretty complicated. I've traced only the half of the back. This is the front. I've made a whole piece pattern for it. This is how it looks like now. First, I'm going to make the front neckline about 2 cm wider and 14 cm deeper. There will be a fold here on the center front. I remind you that when making the front neckline wider, you need to make the back neckline wider as well. The shoulder should be even. Have a look at the front neckline. This is how it looks like in my pattern. You can draw it however you want. I've made it slightly round. You can make it straight, you can make it wider or deeper. You do not even have to make V-necks. Round necklines would also look good in this case. You can make the front neckline of any shape you want. The most important thing is that I show you the needed sewing techniques. Let's have a close look at the sketch. Notice that the pleats are stitched right over left. There is a wrap over here on the center front, so there will be a lot of layers of fabric here. Don't worry, I am going to show you what to do. I'm going to make a pattern for the lower part of the dress first, and then for the upper part. First, I need to cut the pattern according to the waistline. I can move the upper detail of the pattern aside. There is one thing I wanted to tell you. I raised the waistline for about 2 centimeters. I want it to be placed a bit higher. It's up to you whether to do it or not. This is the center front. As I've already said, I moved the waistline 2 centimeters higher. I remind you that this is the lower part of the front pattern. I'll be working with the first 2 pleats now. Let's have a look at the sketch once again. I'm talking not about the outer ones, but the inner ones. I think that this detail will be about 10 centimeters wide. This is where the first pleat is going to be placed. Notice that the line shouldn't go down to the bottom. It should kinda go to the side.
Но близко к низу, вот так, чтобы линия ушла. Это первую линию мы ведем.
I've already showed you how to make an origami style dress. I think that many of you have already made it. This one is pretty similar. Have a look here. This is where the first line ends. This is where the second line of the pleat should end as well. It should be drawn in such way that the two lines meet in this point. I'm going to use a longer ruler to do it. The second line shouldn't be drawn by side. This is how it's going to look like. The drawn detail is triangular. I want to mark it. I'm working with a pleat which is placed closer to the center front. This is the pleat I've just drawn. I'll be working with the second one next. What should I do? First, I need to move the dot opening. The original one should be closed. The making of this pattern requires some thinking. I like it. The dot was moved in such way that the triangular detail ends with it. I'll close the opening with the sticky tape. Next, I need to outline the triangular with a marker pen. I want you to see everything clearly. This is how the first pleat looks like now. The first detail is ready. It's triangular. The extra pieces can be cut. I hope that everything is clear so far. Next, I need to fold the piece of the tracing paper in half. I'll sign the drawn lines. The first line and the second line. It will be more convenient to work with them in this case. Next, I need to fold the piece of the tracing paper in half and put the fold right on the first line. Watch what I'm doing. I folded the piece of the tracing paper in half and put the fold right on the first line. Next, I need to outline the drawn detail with a marker pen. The piece of the tracing paper is pretty thin, so the drawn detail is seen through. This is why I'm drawing the details with the marker pens. A pencil wouldn't be seen through the paper. Next, the drawn detail should be cut. Let's have a look at the cut detail. This is the same triangular, but it's double. There is a fold in the center of this detail. Next, I need to cut the second line in the pattern.
Нашу первую выкроечку. Раздвигаем.
I need to make an opening here. I remind you that this is the second line.
Раздвигаем.
Make an opening here. It should be wide enough for you to be able to insert this detail here. Please be very attentive.
Я стараюсь донести.
I don't want you to have any questions left.
А как вы
Why do you
думаете,
think such
почему
garments are
подобные
usually
вещи
very expensive?
дорого стоят,
Because
а
they're
подобные
very
платья всегда
complicated.
дорогие? Потому
It's
что
very hard to find the high-quality garments in the mass market shops.
вы куда-нибудь
Just imagine how good you will look like
там,
wearing
вы
such
сразу
amazing
рассматриваете,
dresses.
уже вы
You will
прикидываете,
definitely catch everyone's attention.
платье. Это
Women
правда,
will be
кстати.
guessing how much money you spent on
Я
the
надеюсь,
dress.
что до этих пор всё
No
понятно.
one has to know
Дальше
that you made it
работаю с одной
yourself.
половиной, я по центру
I
передам
hope that
одну
everything is clear so
и
far.
уже выкину вот эту часть.
From
Буду
now
работать
on,
только
I'll be
вот с
working with
этой
just one
деталью.
half of the
Вот с
pattern.
этой деталью.
I'm going to cut this one and throw it away.
Сейчас мы эту складочку
When I make the first
заложим.
pleat,
Вы
I'll show you
увидите,
how
что
to make the second
получилось,
one.
и сделаем вторую складочку.
First,
Смотрите,
I'm
что
going
я
to cut the
делаю.
pattern on the center
В
front.
первую очередь я
This is what I'm doing now.
переда.
I'll sign it.
И пишу здесь
I
центр
also want to
переда
note
сгиб.
that there will be a fold here.
Сгиб. Смотрите,
Watch what I'm
что
doing next. The additional detail should be folded according to the mark on the center.
и соединяем
The
с
fold
нашей
should match
вот
the
этой
first
первой
line.
линией. И
I need to draw a
получили
mark
здесь
here.
точку,
This
вот
is
на
the
этой
center front.
складочке. Точка, центр. перед.
Notice that the
Теперь
pattern
смотрите,
looks
мы
as if it
вырежем
hasn't
ткань,
been changed.
разложим, и у нас получается наша же точно то, что сначала и была без всякой складочки.
Perfect.
Деталь. И теперь
I can start drawing the second pleat next.
ко второй складочке.
I remind you that this is the right half of the
Эта
front.
сторона уйдет
The draping
за
will be
центр
stitched
переда,
right over
другая
left.
сторона от сгиба, вот
That
эта
means
вот
that this
точка
detail will
уйдет
be
вот
attached
сюда,
on
вот
top of the same
туда.
detail in the left
И
half.
получится у нас вот такой вот запах складок. Будьте внимательны. Я думаю,
This
что
is how the
пока
pleats are
это
going to
без
look like.
проблем.
Please be
Теперь
very
же мы должны
attentive.
точно таким же
I
образом
hope that
сделать
everything is
вторую
clear so far.
складочку. Вторая
Next, I need to
складочка
draw
у
the
нас
second pleat
примерно.
absolutely the
Ну,
same
на
way.
расстоянии давайте возьмем
Guys, be
каждый
very
возьмет
attentive.
свои талии. У
The
кого,
width of the
конечно,
pleats
там
depends on
талия
your waist
всего 60
measurement.
сантиметров,
This
и
is very
60
important.
сантиметров вы не можете тут брать.
If you have a slim waist, this detail can be made 10 centimeters wide. I'm going to place the second pleat about 7 centimeters away from the first one.
Я сделаю сантиметров 7.
Next, I need to draw a line parallel to this one. The second pleat is going to be much smaller. I'll make it about 6 centimeters wide. You can make it even tighter if you want. The second line should go to the same point. This is the pattern for the second pleat. Here it is in the sketch. I want to mark this detail as well.
Вот, 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 вот,
The techniques which I show you in this video are very useful. I've learned them from the book on the Japanese designs and sewing techniques. This is the cut detail at the front. I don't need it anymore. So I'm going to use it for making a pattern for the second pleat. I'll sign these lines as well, the first one and the second one. A piece of the tracing paper should be folded in half, and the fold should be put right at the first line. The drawn triangle should be outlined. I don't need to measure anything else. The drawn detail should be simply outlined. Check if the detail is accurate right after cutting. It is. Next, I need to cut the second line. Make an opening here and insert the triangle in it. This is the best way for making such dresses. Be very accurate and attentive. The dresses we sew should be perfect. Don't think that it's a waste of time. Don't think that it would be easier to make the draping when cutting the fabric. This is the best way for making accurate dresses of this design. It will be very easy to cut the fabric using this technique. There will be no need to measure or calculate anything. You will put the pattern on the fabric and cut the details right along it. Sometimes our customers create very interesting and unusual designs. It takes us a lot of time and hard work to make accurate patterns. I want us to be different and beautiful. The clothes we sew should be perfect. We need not only to look good, but also feel good.
Чтобы мы комфортно себя чувствовали в обществе.
Let's have a look at the pattern. I remind you that there will be a fold here on the center front. I'll also write it down that the center front should be cut on the grain. This is very important. The bottom will be cut on the crosswise grain. The first fold is going to look this way, and the second one this way. When the both pleats are folded, the pattern looks exactly like the original one. That's all for today. Next time, we'll continue working with this dress. I'll show you how to make a pattern for the upper part of this dress. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Goodbye.